So, which countries are really at the top of the class when it comes to education? Well, the 2024 global rankings are officially out, and today we're going to break down who's leading the pack and which global powers might just be falling behind.
All right, but before we dive into the results, quick question for you. Where do you think your country lands on this list? Take a guess. Top 10? Maybe top 20? Go ahead and lock in that number in your head.
You got your guess? Good, because trust me, some of these rankings are absolutely not what you'd expect. We've got some real surprises coming up.
All right, enough suspense. Let's get right to it and take a look at the educational elite. Who actually made it to the podium this year?
Kicking off our top three and taking home the bronze medal, we've got the Netherlands. They are a consistent powerhouse, and they're known for a system that gives a ton of freedom to individual schools to really innovate and find what works. And moving up to the silver medal spot, at number 2, it's Denmark. Their whole system is really famous for its focus on group work and creative problem solving, right from a super young age, and clearly it's a model that's paying off big time. And now for the number 1 spot, the country with the top-ranked education system in the entire world for 2024 is South Korea. Just an absolute powerhouse, known for its intense academic rigor, super high-stakes testing, and a culture that places a huge amount of importance on achievement in school. Now, what's really fascinating is when you zoom out and look at the whole top 10. Following our top 3, you've got Belgium, Slovenia, Japan, Germany, Finland, Norway, and Ireland, filling out the rest. I mean, just take a look at that lineup. That is a seriously strong list. So as you look at that list, you start to see a pattern, right? A really big one, actually. When you step back, it becomes crystal clear that Europe is a continental powerhouse in education.
And wow, this chart right here really drives that point home. Just look at this breakdown of the top 20 countries. A whopping 12 of them are in Europe. That's more than half. Asia comes in with a very strong showing of 6 nations, and then you've got 2 from other regions.
And we're not just talking about smaller countries either. You see major European players doing exceptionally well. Germany is sitting pretty at number 7, Finland at 8, the United Kingdom comes in at a very respectable 12th place, and France is holding strong at number 16. But Europe isn't the whole story, not by a long shot. Let's shift our focus and head east to talk about the Asian tiger classrooms, nations that are just known for their incredible standards of educational excellence. So obviously we've got South Korea leading the entire world, but check out this cluster of excellence. They're joined by Japan, Singapore, China, and Hong Kong, and they are all in the top 15. I mean, that is a serious concentration of educational firepower all in one part of the world. Okay, so now we get to the part that I think is going to make a lot of people's jaws drop. Let's talk about some of the other global giants and where they landed on this list. And that brings us to a really fascinating comparison, the world's 2 largest economies. We've already seen China cracking the top 15, so where do you think the United States stands? And this, right here, is one of the biggest stories from the entire ranking. China comes in strong at number 13, firmly in that top tier. The United States, on the other hand, is ranked all the way down at number 30. That's a massive 17-spot difference between them. Let's just let that sink in for a second. The United States, a global leader in so many different areas, places 30th on this 2024 education ranking. For a lot of folks, that is a truly unexpected result. And just to put that number 30 in perspective a little more, let's look at a few other major countries. The US ranks below its neighbor Canada, which is at 18, and also behind Australia at 17 and Russia at 21. It does, however, rank ahead of another G7 nation, Italy, which comes in at number 34. Okay, so we've seen all the numbers, we've seen who's up and who's down. But the most important question is, what does this all actually mean? Well, first off, it's super important to know what these rankings are even looking at. They're what's called a composite score. So they're blending together a bunch of different data points, things like standardized test performance, how many students are enrolled in school, graduation rates, and even expert opinions on a system's quality. But, and this is probably the most important point of all, a single number can never, ever tell the whole story. This ranking is just one snapshot, one specific way of measuring a system that is incredibly vast and complex. So that begs the question, what isn't being measured here?
Do these rankings really capture things like creativity and innovation? Do they reflect actual critical thinking skills? And what about really important stuff like student well-being and mental health, or the huge issues of equity and access for every single student in a country? These are vital parts of education that numbers can often miss.
And that leaves us with one final and maybe the most critical question of all. It's great to celebrate the top performers and to analyze these results, but does being number one in education today automatically mean you'll be the leading innovator, the top economy, or the best society?